Man, it's hard seeing your childhood favorite wrestlers still go in the ring, knowing damn well that they can't go in the ring anymore, but still don't want to give up. Example A, which is probably the most obvious example. I don't even know if he's wrestling now, but like y'all know what I'm talking about. Ric Flair, bro. Why was you still trying to wrestle, bro? But he's not the only one that is way past their prime, that still think they can still go. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people who are old that can still go. Rey Mysterio is like probably the prime example. He's been wrestling for how long, and he's still like it look like he still hasn't lost a step. Obviously, he's not as fast as he used to be, but it don't look that way. That's the crazy part. But these are 10 wrestlers who wrestle way past their prime. WrestleMania talk to us, bro. And the thumbnail kind of made me sad too, because it was Big Show, and I remember when I saw that when he came out on AEW with his leg, and it just looked like he was struggling just to stand up. I was like, how is he gonna wrestle, bro? That shit was sad. All right, let's get to the vid.
WWE wrestlers that wrestled way past their prime. Number 10, Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle?
Kurt Angle is cited by many
Kurt
fans
Angle
and fellow
did wrestle way
wrestlers
past
as
his
being one of the
prime.
best bell-to-bell pro wrestlers of all time. Throughout the
I think he went
2000s,
out.
Angle was incredible
Bro,
in the
Kurt
ring.
Angle will go. I think Kurt Angle went out putting over like Baron Corbin or some shit.
But gradually over time, Angle's body began to give up, yet Angle refused to retire. Angle's matches during his final few years in TNA weren't at the quality fans or Angle wanted, and when Angle had one final run in WWE between 2017 to 2019, everything just seemed to fall apart.
Chad Gable.
Angle had numerous matches against the likes of Chad Gable,
Damn.
Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles, and all of these were vastly disappointing as Angle was clearly struggling to get through the respective match. When Angle eventually retired at WrestleMania 35, fans were officially ready to see Angle get put out of his misery, and the match with Baron Corbin highlighted that Angle should have called it a day a long time ago. Whilst these last few years weren't favourable to Angle, this ultimately didn't hinder his legacy one bit, as he was still beloved and celebrated by fans and his peers.
So obviously I didn't pause because I was trying to learn. I wasn't watching through that period. So I knew that Kurt Angle did make a comeback, but I wasn't watching WWE through that time period. I told you I stopped watching like late 2016, early 2017. So Kurt Angle was probably like the last thing I seen in his return, but I don't remember very much of it. I just knew he had one last little run, and his last match was Corbin.
It was just a case of everyone wanting Angle to ride off into the sunset with his aura and credibility intact. Number 9, The Big Show.
Oh god,
The Big Show deserves all the credit in the world for delivering at a high level for years
that's what
on
I'm
end.
saying, bro. These are some
Unfortunately,
legends, bro.
all good things must come to an end, and around 2014, the fan perception of The Big Show began to shift. Big Show's character and in-ring work regressed significantly, and this led to fans turning on him. WWE had a talented roster, yet Big Show was pushed based solely on his name and legacy, and his performances weren't justification for such a strong main event level push. And to his credit, a few years into this shift in crowd response, he managed to get himself in insanely great shape, and some of his matches against Braun Strowman were some of the finest work of his entire career.
Okay.
The matches with Strowman would have been perfect to send Big Show
Oh my
off
God.
into his next chapter, but that wasn't the case. Big Show continued to wrestle, and he even had matches in AEW which paled in comparison to his prior work.
Yeah,
Recently,
I
the
ain't
Big
see-
Show had a match reuniting with his tag team partner.
Oh, this is the moment I was talking about. When I was still on Twitter, bro, I saw this on Twitter. This was like Jericho's like own show. Like I think he hosted like his own show on like a cruise or some shit. I don't remember the exact details, but it was something like that. I just know this whole event was hosted by Chris Jericho. Man, I get it. Jericho reunion, you know, shout out to Jericho. I do know about that, you know what I'm saying? But like, damn, bro. I don't want to see Jericho in 2024, bro. I'm sorry.
WWE, Chris Jericho on the Jericho Cruise.
Chris Jericho's one of those people who can still kind of go too, so I'm not like, this isn't disrespect to Jericho.
Whilst this has been his only match in 2024, some fans may have found this one a hard watch. Number 8, The British Bulldog. The WWE decided to bring
Nigga, that said Kurt Angle, bro. Come on now. I caught that.
Jericho Cruise.
L
Whilst
editing.
this has been his only match in 2024, some fans may have found this one a
Oh,
hard
L
watch.
revision,
Number
bro.
8, The British.
Come on, bro. You didn't even change the number either. You just copied Kurt Angle's thing and text and put British Bulldog in the back. Come on, bro. You gotta lock in.
Bulldog. The WWE decided to bring back the British Bulldog in '99 was a bold move. Bulldog had suffered a career-altering.
Oh, this is was this a Blue Jeans Bulldog? Yeah, this is
was a stark contrast to the Bulldog that was in WWE years prior. Bulldog was way past his prime when he resurfaced in WWE, and even though they tried their best with him, it was never going to work. But credit should be offered for them for giving a legendary name another chance in the spotlight. Jim Ross reflected on Bulldog's '99 run on his podcast, and as always, JR had a fair and unbiased take on the matter. After all these things that went on with the Hart family and the WWE, including Owen's death, and all these unfortunate deaths and injuries and drug and alcohol issues that Davey made his return, I'm not against it. I believe in second chances, gosh darn. I've had plenty of them. It was tough. You always wonder, is he going to relapse? Is he really clean and sober? Is he healthy enough to get this thing done?
Oh, he was
always
drugs.
Seemingly an abundance of unanswered questions that really need to be answered before you kept moving forward with the talent. I think it was a business decision. I think Vince knew the pending legal issues that were going to occur as a result of Owen's accidental death was in play, quite frankly. And let's not forget that sometimes people take how good Davey was for granted. So when you get a chance to get a guy of this caliber, if he's healthy, back on your team, it's not a bad thing to try. Now this run wouldn't last long, as on 15th May 2000, he would take a hiatus from wrestling. Number 7, Ric Flair. Vince McMahon was completely justified in re-signing Ric Flair in 2001. Flair was still a major name in the world of pro wrestling, and he could still somewhat deliver in the ring. Flair's WWE run lasted.
See, this is the Flair. This is the Flair I grew up on. So I grew up on Flair already being old. But then again, I remember watching like a few months back, I watched some old shit from the 90s. They was calling Flair old back then. Flair just been old forever, bro.
Between 2001 to 2008, and as this run went on, Flair's in-ring output seemed to get worse and worse. Age was evidently catching up to Flair. Ooh. However, it wasn't all bad, as the multi-time world champion still had some standout matches during his final few years in the company. When Flair retired at WrestleMania 24,
that's Shawn Michaels' match.
Celebration, as Flair retired following an outstanding matchup against Shawn Michaels, and fans collectively hoped that this was it for Flair. Unfortunately, Flair would wrestle.
That would have been a good way to go out if he didn't go to TNA.
Numerous times after this matchup, including numerous duds in TNA and even on a pay-per-view card which was marketed around his final matchup. All of these matches were difficult to watch, and there was concern throughout them.
No, Flair. No, bro. You still, in some people's eyes, you still the GOAT, bro. Like I said, I grew up on old Flair, so you was already like 16-time world champion, all that, so I didn't really get to witness you in your prime. I still got to see some good moments from you, like Evolution, and then that, like he said, that Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania, bro. That's fire. But this shit that you doing post, bro, why'd you wrestle in TNA? That match with Shawn Michaels would have been a perfect way to go out, and then not even letting on TNA this bullshit. The hell was this?
That the legendary name was going to get seriously hurt. Flair even revealed that he had a legitimate heart attack during his last match.
Nigga almost died.
Kevin Nash. When Kevin Nash returned to WWE television in 2011,
I remember this.
There was some concern that Nash was going to wrestle way past his prime. Nash had an extended run in TNA, and his in-ring output during this run wasn't exactly captivating. Nash was still a shell of his former self during his 2011 WWE run, and his match with Triple H at the TLC pay-per-view was a testament to this. Nash was even rumored to wrestle CM Punk at one stage, and this would have been a total disaster. Nash wouldn't stop in 2011, as he would wrestle numerous other times before
he was in the Rumble,
retiring in 2016. Number 5, Kane. Kane managed to remain relevant in numerous eras of WWE. However, as Kane got into the latter stages of his career, the demand to see Kane in featured programs on TV began to dwindle. This lack of demand began to surface during his run as Corporate Kane, as Kane's matches were terrible.
Oh my God. Corporate Kane was Corporate King was fucking ass. Oh my god, get this nigga off my screen.
WWE had stripped away everything that made his
Get
character
Glenn Jacobs
special.
off my screen, bro.
In recent years, the Devil's
We
favorite
want to
demon
see
has taken
King.
a step back from the squared circle in favor of focusing on his political career, which is the right move.
Get Glenn
King's
Jacobs off my
WWE
screen.
work was noticeably impacting his legacy.
Oh my god,
Despite
I
there
heard
being a
about that
lack of
match right
demand to
there.
see
That
the
match
former
was ass.
WWE champion wrestle again,
Shawn Michaels
King
came back.
hasn't
I
shut
forgot
the
about
door on
that.
having one more WWE match. This is what he had to say during an interview with PW Mania.
It's
I'll always
recent.
leave that door open. In WWE, we never say never. I don't know what will happen. I'll do some stuff here and there in the WWE. That's a part of me, and it's something I enjoy and want to do for the rest of my life. If it's something in the ring, I don't know. Maybe you have to ask Kane that question. Number 4, Hulk Hogan.
The only thing I'm cool with Kane doing is kind of like what Undertaker did at WrestleMania. Just like make a surprise ass appearance, deliver a chokeslam, leave. That's all you gotta do, and you'll get the pop.
Hogan was a name that just didn't
You just
know
gotta
when
make
to
sure the
call it a
chokeslam is
day.
good. That's it.
Hogan had numerous
Come in,
opportunities
choke
to
slam.
retire on top,
Actually-
yet he couldn't
No, I forgot my fault. Come in, do your chokeslam, do your little with the fire, and then leave.
resist coming back for another run
And then
time and time again.
we're gonna
Hogan's
go
runs
crazy.
throughout the 2000s
That's all you
left
gotta
a
do.
lot to be desired, as outside of some bright moments, Hogan was evidently struggling with his long-term injuries, and this limited his mobility in the ring. Hogan would even wrestle in TNA, which was an unpleasant visual
I
to
said
say
this
the
is the
very
Hogan.
least.
This is the Hogan I
Why
grew up
Hogan
on.
felt the need to wrestle in the company was never clear, but it completely
I grew up
exposed
on
Hogan and it
old
never
Dusty
should have
Hogan,
happened.
bruh.
Hogan last wrestled back in 2012 in a live event
He
match
couldn't
in
even-
TNA, and believe it or
That was not no big boot. Hell nah. Why is he? First of all, why is he wearing jeans? I don't even like Hulk Hogan, bro. This nigga racist. But why is this nigga wearing jeans? And that big boot was ass.
wrestle in the company
That was not a
never
big boot. That was a fucking toe kick.
clear, but it completely exposed Hogan and it never should have happened. Hogan last wrestled back in 2012 in a live event match
You know that kick you got to do on them SmackDown versus Raw games before you can do your finisher. Like, you know how on the newer games you can just stand in front of them, and if like you have a stand in front finish, you can just do the finisher. Nah, you gotta do that little kick. Y'all can't see my leg, but you gotta do that little kick to set the finisher up, and then it pops up L1 in the court. That's what Hogan just did.
for TNA, and believe it or not, Hogan has never officially
That shit was
retired.
trash.
It was rumored that Hogan was going to win the annual Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal a few years back, so it's clear that
Hell
Hogan has no
no.
intentions of hanging up the red and yellow indefinitely. Number 3, Goldberg.
Oh.
Goldberg has never been a name known for his in-ring skills.
the fuck?
But this
Yeah,
didn't mean
I'm
that
about to say,
Goldberg always
Goldberg
had
was
4
just-
matches, as that simply isn't the case. But when Goldberg had his second WWE run, it became more obvious that Goldberg couldn't hang with the modern roster. Goldberg had the perfect reintroduction to WWE, as his match and subsequent squash of Brock Lesnar at 2016 Survivor Series
I
marked
remember
a
that.
supposed iconic end to the character. Unfortunately, WWE brought the former world champion back time and time again, and they even put the Universal title on him twice. This was something that there was no demand for, and
Yeah, this is when I wasn't watching. I forgot he was Universal Champion. I forgot he was Universal Champion. Why? And that was a time when y'all was supposed to be building Kevin Owens. I forgot. Yeah. I forgot. Goldberg took the title off of... That don't even make sense, bro.
Goldberg's performance didn't warrant a world title win. Goldberg had some true stinkers during this second run, and worst of them was his infamous match with The Undertaker.
Oh,
This was
God.
a match in which Goldberg dropped the dead man right on his head, and it was a miracle that both men were able to walk out of the ring. Goldberg has stated publicly that he's open to wrestling again, and whilst
No.
nobody can stop Goldberg
Nah.
from competing again, maybe it's time that he enjoyed his retirement in peace and stayed out of the squared circle.
Nah.
Number 2, Mick Foley. 2000 was the year in which Mick Foley initially retired. Foley wrestled Triple H inside a Hell in a Cell, and this was set to be it for the wrestling megastar.
Oh, Mick
However,
Foley
this initial
wrestled a long
retirement
time,
lasted
too.
a matter of weeks, as Foley returned to be a key part of the build to WrestleMania 16. Following this reappearance, Foley wrestled numerous matches for the WWE that were unofficial.
I love this match. I love that match. I ain't gonna lie. Mick Foley versus Randy Orton for the Intercontinental Championship. I think, what was this? Backlash? I don't remember exactly what this was, but I just know it's for the Intercontinental
Actually
Championship.
labeled as retirement matches, and while some of these were all-time
That's one of
classics,
my
some of
favorite
them were
Randy Orton
sad affairs,
matches.
with Foley wrestling names
Foley
such as
matches too.
Carlito and
It's
Jonathan
just one of my favorite
Coachman.
matches.
Foley should have without a doubt stopped wrestling either following the 2004 Classic against Randy Orton or the 2006 Hardcore
Oh,
Masterpiece
this match
against
too.
Edge, but Foley just had the wrestling bug and couldn't resist
That's actually my
carrying
favorite
on.
Foley
When
match.
Foley left
Obviously,
WWE,
the
he even wrestled several
Mankind
matches for
getting thrown off the Hell
TNA,
in a
and
Cell, but that
TNA
ain't
in a
Foley taking. That's
baffling move
Mankind.
even put their world title on him. Bear in mind, TNA had names such as Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, and Samoa Joe on the roster, and yet some.
Bro, TNA had a stacked roster. Oh my god. And then y'all want to put the world title on Foley? In the late 2000s, you want to put that on Foley? Wow, that's kind of nasty.
How they believe that Foley winning their world title was the correct move. Foley
Nah.
wrestling for years on end after it was time to call it a
Damn.
day hasn't really affected his legacy, as Foley is still an undisputed legend, yet his career would have had the perfect
Dave?
ending if the wrestling great just knew when to call it a day. And number 1, The Undertaker.
Aw.
WrestleMania 33 was a perfect night for The Undertaker to retire. The dead man had done everything in the industry, and now it was time for him to bow out in style. Ultimately, the match with Roman Reigns was so disappointing that he decided to have several more matches. Some
I
of
didn't
these
see
were
that
decent,
match.
yet unfortunately, some of them represented the worst work of his entire career, as he just couldn't deliver like he used to. The matches with Goldberg and the tag match against DX were matches
Ooh.
the dead man no doubt wishes to forget. The Undertaker kept going until he had a match that was good enough to retire on, and this wasn't until 2020.
Look at his
In the
gear.
aforementioned year, the dead man wrestled
this is
AJ
the,
Styles in
Boneyard
the
match.
Boneyard match, and the Undertaker as well as
I
the
need to
fans
watch
believe
this
that
all
this
the
was
way.
the right time and the exact moment for the Undertaker to
I heard
bring
this-
his
I heard this
career
match was
to a
actually good.
close. There you have it, folks. 10 WWE wrestlers that wrestled.
I got to watch the Boneyard match. I heard that match was actually nice and a way better send off than those previous matches. And shout out to AJ Styles too for getting to be Undertaker's actual last match. That's fire. He deserves it, especially for someone who spent most of their career outside of WWE and was still killing. But hey, man, this was a good video. You hold British Bulldog giving him Kurt Angle's like graphic. Well, Kurt Angle's name on top of his graphic, but hey, we all make mistakes while making videos, bro. But this was nice. This was 10 WWE superstars who wrestled past their proms. Did they miss anybody? I'm trying to think of someone who was like that and that kept going and was like when they wasn't supposed to. I think they pretty much hit the nail on the head, bro. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.